Okay, what we've done now is we've come up with some areas that we think need improvement in our program. Let's figure out what we can do about those areas. Let's figure out what we need and what we actually might be able to do.
Well, one thing we need to do is vary our instructional methods more. We also need to make a better connection between the tutoring program and the beginning algebra course. We probably should streamline the course content for beginning algebra and use a common syllabus, a common textbook, and common student learning outcomes. The classes are too large. We shouldn't have 27 students in a section.
I really like the idea of common syllabi and objectives. We're seeing a lot of differences in preparation level of our developmental students when they arrive in technical math. I also think that having a common syllabus and objectives in beginning algebra would be a great improvement.
Do you have a common syllabus in your technical math courses?
Well, we have some components in common in our technical math. The syllabi themselves include common objectives and a common exit exam. In addition, I think it is something we really need to look at carefully because how the course objectives in developmental math flow logically into the college level math classes is extremely important.
Great. So what I'm hearing is that we need an action plan that examines our beginning algebra course and ensures that our students are more prepared for the technical math courses.
Okay, all right.
Okay. David, what do you think about that?
Well, since there's only a small number of us full-time math faculty, we could probably develop a common syllabus and use input from the part-time faculty, and then we'd all have a stake in a common syllabus that way.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Karen, you're part-time. What do you think of this idea?
Well, I think it would be excellent, really. We have many part-time faculty on the staff, and we really need some guidance in order to do a good job. I think some of us feel as though we've been thrown into the course, and others teach on multiple campuses, and some are only here at night and don't get much guidance. So it would be a good idea to have a common syllabus.
Okay.
Yeah, that would help. And another benefit of streamlining the content is that it would improve the articulation between developmental and regular college math courses.
Okay, so I think I hear that we have 2 action plans going. The first is to create a common syllabus in algebra, and the second is to better prepare students for their next math course, including their technical math course. What else do we need to do, or what other areas of weaknesses are we thinking need addressing?
If we're going to redesign beginning algebra, we ought to have common learning objectives first.
Okay.
Then we can develop a common syllabus and a common final that covers all of the most important course objectives.
Good idea.
So that means that plan is feasible. We should put that. Okay. All right.
Well, but to do what we're planning, it sounds as though someone needs to have some release time. So I think we need to look at the budget and ask Dean Thompson about the feasibility of providing some funding for some full-time people to have some release time and also to hire some adjuncts to take their classes.
Well, you will be happy to know that I have already spoken to the provost. He has agreed to provide 2 faculty with half release time for a year and to hire the adjuncts to cover the courses. So we have got that.
That would be
great.
Very good.
That's
Wow, that'd be excellent. But let's not forget the class size. We need to reduce the number of students in those beginning algebra sections.
I agree. I've spoken with an academic advisor and as a member of the advising crew, she's spoken with some other people too. And they have some issues with placing their students into developmental math course. The comment that she made was basically, we have 30 sections, and they're trying to place 1,800 students into those 30 sections. And so it really is an issue. And if we want to be student success focused, like certification is asking us to, then we need to try to address this class size.
I would have to agree, but at this point, it's just not doable. We don't have the classroom space. We don't have the budget to increase the number of classes to that extent. So that's something that's going to have to be put on the back burner, not forgotten.
Okay, thank you. Well, that might be something that we include in our certification report so that it's there. But it might not be one of our actions feasible, at least not for this part of the project.
Okay, I would agree with that.
Okay, so is there anything else that we need to look at or discuss?
What about tutoring?
Oh, right.
What about tutoring?
Right.
I spoke to one of my students who regularly attends the tutoring center, but she really isn't happy with the tutoring she receives. To begin with, she doesn't even meet the same tutor twice. She says that some tutors are very, very, very good, but others don't even seem to know the material. And then, of course, there are always those that just do her homework.
Oh, I hate worrying about that.
So, this is a concern.
Yeah.
This is a big concern.
Well, I remember from our last meeting, we talked about the fact that not enough of our students are going to the tutoring center, and those would be extra hands to help us out here. But now we're also talking about inconsistent quality of tutoring.
Yes, we are.
How can we address both of those? How can we use this certification project to do that?
Well, we don't have direct control over tutoring. That's under student affairs. We're academic affairs. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean we can't have the discussion. I would be very happy to invite the director of the tutoring center to meet with this group, and you can air some concerns. She may have some concerns of her own, and perhaps come up with some ideas.
So that might become an action feasible while we're doing this project.
At least in terms of getting that discussion going, yes.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Sure.
Okay. So do we have any other ideas? I think we're
Where are we now?
Well, let's see. We've conducted our self-study, we've gathered baseline data, and we've generated some feasible action plans. So how do we show all this in our application for NAID certification?
Well, if I remember correctly, what we do next is fill out the DAD form, actually maybe several of the DAD forms, and that's how that goes into our application.
Okay, excuse my ignorance. I know what the guides are. I made myself familiar with those, but what is a DAD form?
Sorry. That's the data analysis document, and that helps us pull together our goals, the data that we're collecting to measure those goals, our actions that we're going to take on to try to increase, our student success in our data to better meet our goals. So it just pulls it together for the application.
Gotcha.
Sounds good.
Shall we
I think
start?
we're ready.
Ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's give it a go.
do it.
Let's pull out some of those DAD forms and get going on that.
Let's do
Sounds
it.
good. Okay.